with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle. Good evening. It's May 14th, 2025. It is NFL schedule release night, and it is one step closer to the NFL kicking off, guys. I'm Mark Davis, joined alongside Luke Rule. I know, not Luke Rule, but joined alongside Luke Rule and Alan Tomasella. And like I said, it's a night, man. You know, a month later, here we are, another night for the NFL, another win for the NFL. And Luke, I'll start with you. How do you feel about the Baltimore Ravens schedule as it was released about 61 minutes ago?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good with it. I like starting off with a big game. Just get you right back into football season, playing a big game up front. Then right after that, going into a divisional game. So the two big games to start off the season. We got a pretty weird stretch. We got an early bye, week 7, and then we go 3 home games in a row, 3 away games in a row, then 3 home games in a row. So it's yeah,
man. I'm looking at this. You guys got a tough first 6 games. Like the first 6 games.
Yeah. We got like Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football.
Outside of the Browns, you got Bills, Lions, Chiefs at the Chiefs, Texans. Don't know how I feel about them yet, but then you also got the Rams, which I fully expect the Rams to win that division too. So like that is a tough, first 6 games.
We just got to survive to the bye.
Yeah,
that's what we got to do. Survive to the bye.
Even coming out of your bye, we don't know what Chicago is going to be like. You at the Dolphins, it's going to be a little warm weather. Minnesota's an unknown. It's a tough full schedule. You guys have. I think it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, we have one of the toughest schedules. I think when they do like those little ratings or whatever.
Oh, I hate that.
I
feel bad for the Giants.
Up there was one of the toughest. I think Giants do have the toughest one.
Dude, that first stretch, dude, like at Commanders, at Cowboys, Chiefs, Sunday Night Football, Chargers, Saints. Okay, there you go. There's your little breather game, and then Eagles and Broncos. It's tough. But Alan, let's talk about the Patriots, man. How are you feeling about the Patriots schedule? It's not a fan of the schedule release video, but how do you feel about the schedule?
I'm looking at it right now, and I think that we've got a pretty decent schedule, coming out the first 4 weeks. If we can go 2-2, in those, I really expect us to be more competitive than we were last year. I know, we'll probably win more games, especially with Mike Vrabel coming in and changing. But there is a lot of stuff we have to do. But Josh McDaniels back and Drake May. Obviously I'm not going to go down the whole roster, but I like what we've done. And I fully expect our defense to keep us in games. And we don't know what the Steelers are going to be, if that handshake deal is actually going to go through. We start off with the Raiders, and then we're at the Dolphins. Those are always, those are games that I think that we could win. Dolphins they're shrouded in turmoil right now. And then after the Steelers, we got the Panthers. First 4 weeks, and I think we can go 2-2, maybe even 3-1. With some good luck. But then we get into some tougher games. But even then, we got Titans on the docket. I think we can win that game. We don't know what the Saints are going to be. Saints are going to have a good defense, but what is their, is Show going to be that guy? A lot of people are talking highly of him, not just, Saints fans, but, people in on the networks. But we got Browns, I think that we've got a lot of winnable games here. Jets, we fully expect the Jets to be a rebuild. We got Giants on here too, and we got a late bye week. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots can pull out 8-9 wins this year. Maybe not, have a playoff, maybe not be a playoff team, but have a solid, add 4 or 5 wins to the win slot. I think that I think we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, the Falcons. I actually misread the schedule. We don't have a week 11 bye week. I thought we did, and Jake, I thought he said it. We have a week 5 bye week. I'm actually pissed. Besides that, the schedule I'm not too mad about. But normally the international series games, that the NFL gives the options of the teams if they want to have a bye week the following week.
I declined it.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing there. I don't know if it's Arthur Blank or Terry Fontenot or Raheem Morris had input on that. I'm not a fan of that. Coming out of Germany in week 10, week 11, that's a perfect bye week. You just did barely over half the schedule. And then, you have the rest, weeks 12 through 18 right there. That's 7 weeks to or whatever, 6, 7. Yeah, no, 7 or 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I'm sorry, 7 weeks to, finish the season. It's a good stretch, but no, I'm not a fan of week 5. That right there is terrible. But besides that, I like the schedule. I think we can get 10 wins. I like it.
Yeah, you get the bye right before the Buffalo Bills, so that's nice.
Right. Well, yeah, and I'm
Right
apparently
before a primetime game.
apparently me and Jake are going to that game. So I'm going to spend about $200 to $400 on tickets to watch my favorite quarterback kick my favorite team's ass. So unfortunately, the one game I'm not going to be rooting for Josh Allen, and he's probably going to throw for 350, probably 3 touchdowns, maybe even run for 50 yards, and have a rush touchdown on the ground himself. It's unfortunate. I didn't want to go to the game, but then Jake talked me into it, and I realized, how many chances am I going to see Josh Allen play a football game? So, and my team in the stadium, I'm going to go to the Miami Dolphins game too. But five primetime games and a standalone Germany game. That's 6 nationally televised games. I'm a little shocked that we were that high. It's a lot of pressure, honestly. That's a lot of expectations, in my opinion. They believe, I guess, in the young Falcons with Michael Penix. I don't like it. I
think the Falcons have done a lot of good things in this offseason, though, and I really do. I like what they did with the 2 edge guys in the first round. I do expect them to make a big difference. You guys
10 wins. 10 wins for us. I like it.
I think you guys can get there. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I mean, yeah,
banger off the jump, man. Banger. We swept the Bucks last year, and we're playing them week 1 this year, and that game might be 45-42. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's in Atlanta too, so I mean that's a benefit.
We also swept them last year, so I mean, like I said, we have a little bragging rights on. I mean, yes, they won the division, but when it comes to head-to-head, we have the bragging rights. But guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how much of a banger I thought the NFL did week 1. What are your guys' thoughts on how the NFL handled the week 1 slate? Now Cowboys Eagles, obviously, that's going to be probably the biggest rating Thursday night game to kick off a season in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the Bucks and the Cowboys a couple years ago after the Bucks won the Super Bowl, I thought that was also a very good game when they put that on. And I think that the things that the Cowboys have done this offseason are going to be what they need to do against the Eagles. I think that they built a team that is going to be able to withstand the Eagles. I like that they're going to be able to attack their defensive backs. We saw a complete overhaul in the Eagles' defensive backfield. And I think that it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. Week 1, there's not a lot of shootouts. That's something that we've seen over the last couple of years, especially with less preseason. But I do think that this is going to be a pretty good, maybe like 31-22 game or something like that. I do think that the Eagles are probably going to win that game, but I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think it's going to be a pretty fun game to watch.
I mean, I think Luke in general, like not even just the first game. I mean, obviously Brazil.
Hey, we lost you.
Yeah, you're muted, Mark. Nope. Still muted.
No, but I really like the Chiefs and the Chargers too. I think that's going to be a really good game. I'm excited to see what the Chargers can do. A lot of people are, we had these conversations the other day when we were projecting. I think it was when we were doing our dynasty, but I think who was it? Was it Mark that said that he felt like the Chiefs were gonna fall down a little bit? I think that this could be a tough game.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Harbaugh gets his team like down to Brazil. I mean, international games are always tough because you never know what's really going to happen with teams traveling so far. I mean, Brazil's not the farthest international game, but still, you're in different time zones and all that, and on the other side of the world, pretty much on the bottom half. No, you're still muted, Mark.
Yeah, maybe switch your Mark to your laptop. All right, switch your mic to your laptop. But yeah, Chargers I think can really win that game. I'm excited to see what's going to come out. Harbaugh's second year, and continuing to draft players that are going to play his style of football. I'm pretty excited, man. I think that's going to be a really damn good game on that Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Chargers going out and pulling this one off too. Like, I think the Chiefs have only gotten worse in the offseason since last season. I don't think the Chiefs were that good last year.
Say something, Mark?
No. No, Mark, you're still muted. Still muted. But I like what the Chargers have done this offseason. They built teams for a hardball style offense and defense. I mean, get big up front. Then they got the two stud running backs. They got Hampton and the guy from the Steelers,
Najee Harris. Yeah,
Najee. So I mean, that's pretty good 1-2 punch when it comes to running backs. And Herbert. Yeah, I get it. He chokes in big games, but I think he's got the weapons, good enough weapons now. He can survive.
Yeah, and then looking at the 1:00 slate, I think that the NFL did the right thing. They got a lot of those little burner games. We don't really need to watch those games. There's some ugly games, but they're very hard to predict. I know Mark wanted to talk a little bit about Survivor, and this is a tough week to look at when it comes to that. I mean, we don't really know what's going on with the Saints. You got the Cardinals at the Saints. You got the Raiders at the Patriots. I'm high on the Patriots. I think we can get that win. And the Raiders with their little reset. Bucks Falcons. I think that's gonna be a shootout. Bengals and Browns. Bengals should win that game, but the Bengals are really bad everywhere else. I mean, outside of quarterback and wide receiver, they're bad everywhere else. So
their defense would be terrible, especially if they don't get Hendrickson or their first round rookie signed.
Yeah. And then you got
their second round rookies hasn't signed either.
Yeah, that's tough.
So,
they got it.
They're all three defensive players, probably the best players they would have on the defensive side of the ball. Yep. I mean, so they have to figure Hendrickson out that he's playing, because other than that, Shamir Stewart, yeah, cool. He's supposed to have the talent and all that, but he didn't produce in college. He only had 4 sacks in his entire college career. And he started like at least 2 seasons. So I mean, that's not going to give me a lot of reassurance for the defense.
Oh yeah.
And the Browns, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get the Browns. You never know who's going to be starting quarterback. You got to pick of 4 quarterbacks that are probably going to start.
Well, and Chubb isn't signed back either.
Chubb's not coming back.
So Chubb's not coming back. What are they doing?
They drafted 2 running backs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they drafted the other Ohio State guy, right?
Yeah, Judkins and
Judkins.
Sampson from Tennessee, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, you're basically you don't got a wide receiver. You don't really have proven running backs. You don't have a proven quarterback. I mean, yeah, you got Joe Flacco. He's going to be the starter, but I expect a big game probably out of Njoku. But I don't think that's going to be a big shootout game, especially the Bengals don't play their players in the preseason at all. So that's just going to be a dumpster fire.
I don't think they're the Browns defense going to be that great outside Myles Garrett either.
Let's try this one more time. Did it work?
There we go.
God, fuck. I was going to say yes, the Denver Broncos winning the AFC West, and I still stand on business unless Bo Nix gets hurt in preseason. The Denver Broncos are winning the AFC West. Sorry, guys. I just want to say that. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. Once I shared the screen, it just kicked me off. It's really weird. Yeah, I was listening. You guys are doing great. Yeah, Survivor. I think I'm going to have to rock with either the who are we talking about, Alan? I know we talked about before, but I might even rock with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think you said you were going to probably have to go with either the Broncos or
yes.
Who else was
it? The Dolphins. Dolphins was the other one.
Dolphins was the other one. Yeah. But I mean, we were just talking about it, Mark. I think that the NFL did good at putting the little dumpster fire games. They're tough to pick, but they put the dumpster fire games all in that 1:00 slate. They're probably going to have some good games in there, but they're not really games that I think are going to have a big say in how the season plays out. You already got Steelers versus Jets. So what is Justin Fields going to do to his old team there?
And Aaron Rodgers too.
If Aaron Rodgers signs,
if he goes back. That's what other thing I got to look at. That they were saying. I think it was Peter Schrager was saying that if the Steelers have a lot of primetime games, then the NFL expects Aaron Rodgers to be with the Steelers.
I think the 425 game too, the Lions Packers, that right there is a banger in Lambeau.
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They did a really good job of dumping all of the bad games in that 1:00 slate, and then you look at the 4:00 slate, you got some really good games in there. You got Cam Ward going up against the Broncos. We think the Broncos are going to be good this year. 49ers and Seahawks, I think both those teams are taking a step back this year. But Lions Packers, that should be game of the week. That should be the one that's on prime like that.
That's gonna be Romo right
that's on
there.
Fox.
Romo and Jim. Well, it's on CBS. Romo and Nance are
CBS.
gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird because I guess the America's game of the week for Fox because they even put the Rams Texans at 4:25 on CBS. I'm assuming the 1:00 America's game of the week is probably going to be. I mean, not to be biased or anything, it's probably going to be the Falcons and Bucks. That's probably where Brady's going to be at. Brady and Kevin Burkhardt.
Yeah, it's probably the best game that's in that 1:00 slate
On the Fox schedule, yeah, on the Fox schedule.
Or is the
they could go Seattle, San Francisco, but I don't know about that one.
Is the Bengals Brown? Is that on Fox? Yeah, that could be another one.
I don't see them going. I don't see them. I mean, that's not surprising. I just don't see.
Now Sanders is starting.
Now there's a different story. There you go. Yeah, that's a different story.
They decided to put Sanders in there.
Guys, I want to talk primetime if you guys don't mind. I think the primetime games this year, I think it's the Thursday night schedule here on Amazon Prime. I thought they started off good with the Packers, Commanders, Bills, Dolphins. Seahawks, Cardinals is pretty good. I think week 6 is kind of the first boring one. And then we see Jim Harbaugh versus J.J. McCarthy potentially, reunion game there. Luke, your team's on it, the Ravens. And then Allen,
South Beach.
Patriots always get the Jets on there somehow. It's usually a game. Yeah. But I think the primetime games in general this year, even like I felt like the NFL finally did it right. There's always going to be a couple snooze fests, but I feel like this is Sunday Night Football.
Well, I think that they started off great with Sunday Night Football. I mean, how could you get any better than Buffalo and the Ravens on week 1 Sunday Night Football? I mean, that's just going to be. I mean, we talked about it a little bit when we talked about Luke's team, the Ravens schedule, but like just starting off, we're talking about primetime games. Like that's a fucking banger of a game right off the bat.
NBC, I'm not gonna lie, NBC schedule right here. This is all like because they're including Thursday Night Football for the first one. This is all of NBC's games. And I'm telling you right now, yeah, Chiefs, Giants, not much of a banger. I think Patriots, Bills could be sneaky because you don't know what Drake May with Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels is going to look like. I mean, you have games
Detroit,
here.
Kansas City, like that's a really good game.
Detroit, Philly, this right here on Thanksgiving night, Luke, that's usually a shootout between your team and the Bengals. Commanders, Broncos, that's right there. I mean, these are all good games. And then you end it with the Bears and 49ers. So kind of shit. But I don't know. I feel like NFL did a good job this year on the primetime games. I know like the international series kind of took a hit, what they usually do. It's unfortunate, but this is Monday night game. And we have two Monday night games, week 2, two week 4, and then 2 week 6, which sucks because like I'm going to be at the game probably, and then 2 week 7. I don't like the whole 2. That has to go away. I think 2 on Monday Night Football. I think the NFL has to get rid of that. If you're asking me. Well,
I like that they moved it. They moved it off of the first week because they've got that Friday game now. But I still, I'm not too against it. Like it. They want to dominate that, and I think it'll be some good games.
I feel bad for JJ McCarthy because his first 2 games in his career are going to be on prime time. So everyone's watching. You have him at the Bears, and then you're hosting the Falcons, both against former first round quarterbacks in his same class too. So I feel bad for JJ McCarthy. I think that's kind of a bad start. Not like he's going to suck or anything, but just a lot of eyes on you, a lot of pressure.
That's just welcome to the NFL moment right here. He played big time viewed games at Michigan, so like it's not like something new to him.
Well, they also
a little bit different competition.
Yeah, but they brought him in to be almost different from Kirk Cousins. So here we go. Let's see. Is he a guy that's going to be able to perform in prime time? Let's start off with 2 fucking games in a row.
And one's in Soldier Field too.
I'm sure he'll get quite a bit of work in the preseason games, getting it ready.
Do they even play him in preseason with the injury?
I think they have to. I think he's got to get some good time, like game reps, for like full speed. I mean, yeah, take it easy. Like, don't take any big sacks or anything. You're like, it's preseason. Who gives a fuck? But
yeah. By the way, the holiday games too. The holiday games this year, I believe the NFL killed that too. I mean, you have starting with Thanksgiving, the Packers and Lions. That's always a good game usually. Recently, and then Cowboys Chiefs. That might be the highest rating Thanksgiving game in history. That's not to be biased or anything. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean the NFL just glazing the Chiefs this season.
Yeah, they really are.
The most.
But I
think you've been watching the Chiefs on primetime every other week.
Half the year.
Yeah, half the year they're on primetime.
Well, I think that it's going to be good TV to watch the Chiefs stink it up. Then, if that's going to be the case,
or they do good and we have to keep watching them do good.
They're just going to get a whole Taylor Swift airtime this year. Probably one of Kelsey's last years.
It's going to be a lot of the Discord saying these fucking refs are just sucking the Chiefs off, dude. Yeah. That's all we're going to hear.
Because we'll be fucking watching them like every other week.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but they are at the moment like the new America's team, as in like they're getting what they want. They're getting the primetime games, and you never know. They'll probably be flexed into games later in the year too. Let's say some of these primetime games are very shit, and they want to move, playoff contenders in there. The Chiefs are usually a bona fide team that usually gets that treatment. The Ravens are up there usually with that too. But if that happens, the Ravens get more games. It's good for them. But the Chiefs, we don't need 9-10 games of their 17 on national TV.
Yeah, I think it's
they're gonna be fucked if Mahomes goes down early or some shit.
Yeah, and on top of that, that the Chiefs really aren't built to be like a glamour type of team. They're not going to be in like these big shootouts. They're a slow paced game. So I don't know if it's a good product to be putting on TV. It's going to be a lot of close games and defensive struggles, and then you're going to have some magic plays probably, but you're going to have a lot of those close calls that are going to get scrutinized, polarizing calls that are going to cause issues, and they're just going to be ugly products for the game because the Chiefs really aren't built to be that that high profile flashy style that the NFL is trying to market over the last couple of years.
If this was the Chiefs, like Mahomes' first 3-4 seasons when they were doing that's understandable. Yeah, because they were scoring like a bunch of points. They were in shootouts. That would have made so much more sense. But like Alan said, like this era, this version of the Chiefs at this current time frame, they are a little more slow, a little more methodical and strategic. Especially, I mean, they run the ball a lot more now. Oh, they sometimes do now. They go back and forth, but we'll never know. Maybe these receivers that they're getting. Maybe they go back, but I don't know. We'll see what Rashee Rice happens. Kelsey lost 25 pounds, so is he going to go back to being Kelsey? Who knows?
I think it's going to be worse for them. I mean, Kelsey might, be able to run a little bit more, but I don't, he was having issues with his hands last year, and I don't think losing 25 pounds does anything for your hands.
Hey, Luke, how do you feel about the Chiefs trying to be like the Cowboys and Lions, but on Christmas they want the Christmas game one of the Christmas games every single year?
I mean, it seems like the NFL's giving them what they want. I mean, I saw Goodell say he wasn't going to cater to any specific teams, but I mean, it kind of sure seems that way. This is the third year in a row and third time they've done Christmas games. So I mean, they're getting it every year at this point. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the Chiefs bringing the biggest fan base, having Taylor Swift now, so they get the most views at anybody. So it makes sense to put them in all these big time primetime games. I mean, all the NFL really cares about is the money. So I mean,
that's how it is.
The most money, whoever brings the most money, and right now it's the Chiefs. It used to be the Cowboys, but now it's the Chiefs.
And that's why they'll still throw the Giants and Jets on there, no matter how bad the Giants and Jets are. For example, they have such a big market; they're going to get even on that's why they try and throw them early on or like a Thursday night game, because they know they're still going to attract eyeballs. It's all about, making money. And if we worked for the NFL, we'd be doing the same thing. I mean, it's all about generating views. It's all about boosting your numbers. It's all about making yourself look like the king of American sports, which they are. I mean, they don't have to do it. It just is. But yeah, that's just the way it's going to go until the Chiefs fall off or Mahomes decides to leave the Kansas City Chiefs, which is never going to happen.
No, probably not.
Anything else that stood out, guys? I mean, I know the international series wasn't the biggest glamour when we were talking about it before the schedule came out, because a lot of those games are trickling. I think only a good couple international games, honestly.
Yeah, the international games are never too exciting for me. I mean, you're waking up early to watch most of them, except the Brazil one, because that one's a normal football time.
Yeah,
but like the rest of them, like you're waking up. For me, I think they started like 8 a.m. or some shit. Half the time I missed the first half.
It sucked when I lived in Washington State. It was 6:30 in the morning just to watch a game.
They are where they are, but I feel like most times like those games put out like a bad product too. Like you got these teams traveling all the way over there. I don't think the players are at their peak performance those weeks, and you get like a lesser product than you do at stateside.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Aren't the fields made of different
For soccer pitches?
Yeah, soccer pitches, and I mean I don't necessarily feel, yes, the product is lessened, but I don't feel like these players are being paid enough. These teams are the high profile product of American sports. Like I feel like at the end of the day they should be expected to still perform. And there's got to be, this has been happening enough. This has been happening long enough to where these guys should be able to adjust to this and should be able to play at better, quality. Like, look at the Jaguars. The Jaguars always seem to, kind of pull things around when they get their little stretch in England.
They only got one this year, right?
No, they got two overseas, but I don't know.
Really?
I think one might be in Dublin.
No,
or something.
That's the Vikings. That's the Vikings. They got back.
Here, let me pull up. I'll pull up the Jags.
The Vikings have back-to-back. So I think
the Vikings. They got Dublin and France, I think.
Yeah, so the Vikings, I believe. I mean, I know it sucks playing overseas. I was talking to Rizla about it, our local Vikings fanboy. The Vikings have the benefit of playing back-to-back, and they also avoid playing. And as much as we think the Browns are going to be shit and the Steelers are going to fall off a little bit, they get to avoid playing in the AFC North stadiums. And instead of having 9 true road games, they have 7 true road games. So that actually benefits the Minnesota Vikings, and they get to do it early on in the season and get to readjust by the time it comes around for the actual good stretch of their schedule. And that's good. I think the Vikings did get lucky when it came to it. Now the Jaguars last year did do back-to-back London games. So, but yeah, they're going to be going from Dublin, Ireland to London, England. That's the Vikings.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's not the Jaguars. Jaguars only got one game overseas with the Rams.
They want to make the Jaguars. I think when the AFC has 9 road games, they're going to designate the Jaguars as a road team in one game and a home team in another, so that they still get to have 8 road games. I think that's what their plan is down the road for Jacksonville Jaguars. Every other year, that's how it would be. I think is the goal.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, the first thing that I do whenever I look at schedules, I haven't had a chance to really look at them all, but the first thing that I'm always going to do is I'm always going to go to the division winners from last year and see how tough those schedules are, because obviously they're going to be playing up against the tougher opponents, and see how that's going to shake out. I mean, we already went over the Ravens, and I think the Ravens got kind of a tough schedule, especially to start off the season. I mean, it lightens up a little bit at the after the bye week, but what do the Bills look like? Texans are Texans. They're in a shitty division. I think they've got a pretty clear path over the next couple of years. Chiefs, look at the Chiefs schedule. I think the Chiefs schedule is probably going to be another one of those tough ones that they're gonna be fighting to try to come out over 500. It's going to be tough, especially with the losses that they've had to take. Lions, what does the Lions schedule look like? I mean, just going back through all of these division winners and seeing, all right, where's our fallers? Who's going to fall out of the playoffs, and which one of these bottom feeders are going to rise up into division winner talks or playoff talks, because that all always constantly changes every year. There's always risers and fallers. So who are they?
I mean, to be honest, I think that the chart. I think the Chiefs have a tough schedule. It's still the Chiefs. I can still see them getting 11 wins, 10, 11 wins. I think the Bengals have a good shot of doing good. I think the Bengals this year can come off to a good start. I know, Luke, you're not a Bengals fan. You call them the Bungles.
That's what happens when they're so bad. Like, they get easy schedules. You play bad, you get an easy schedule next year.
You do. I mean, but you get the easy place seeding like teams. So like the 3 that are not predetermined, years in advance. But I mean, so the playoff team, the Steelers might fall back from last year. I mean, the Vikings are an unknown. I think the Vikings have a pretty tough schedule. It's going to be an interesting, like you said, Alan, who's going to come out hot and who's going to come out, not. And I think the Bengals this year, I think they override that, consistent starting off slow. And I think the Bengals are going to come off pretty good this year.
Damn, the Bills have an easy schedule to start out with. I mean,
And the Bills and the
their only
Bills
tough game is Baltimore. Really,
and the Bills have a lot of games, all the tough opponents at home this year. So like all those tough games, they're in Orchard Park, the last year of their stadium, by the way. They get to play most of the tough games in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, this is
that all of them.
This is one of those.
Right? I'm looking at their schedule right now. Like they got all their tough games are at home, and like their first.
What's their toughest road game? You would say, Luke. You're looking at it right now.
Toughest road game.
Don't say Atlanta because I have no faith in us right now. That might be. It might be the toughest.
No, Texans maybe.
Okay, good defense. That's a good defense. I give Houston. Houston, I think, might come back a little bit more on offense. I think this offense is going to be a little better this year.
Yeah, either Texans or Miami. Miami gives them problems sometimes.
But they own Miami. Like Josh Allen, I think has lost. That's like he. I'm not comparing him to Brady, but this is the Brady of this right now. This division, he owns the AFC.
They play the Eagles at home. They play the Bengals at home.
Chiefs at home.
They got Tampa at home.
I think that Chiefs this year's going to be tough for the Eagles, man.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Eagles is an interesting because, like you said before the show, Alan, the secondary lost some players. How did the exciting Whites do as now the primary guys? I like them still. I think they're pretty good, but how do they do? And then I think the offense is going to be fine. It's just what does the secondary do in these games that might be shootouts?
Yeah, the thing that I'm looking at right now is just looking at the divisions and thinking, all right, the NFC is going to be really tough. I think the two best divisions in football are the NFC East and the NFC North. I think those are the two best divisions in football from rosters top to bottom. In the AFC, we're probably going to see three teams in the playoffs from the AFC West. I don't know if you're going to get a team out of the AFC East, outside of the Bills. So this could be that year where the Bengals kind of come back and like you were saying, maybe shrug off some of them early woes and get in a stride.
We were talking about like the Bengals. I just have no faith in that defense.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like their offense didn't get better. It's the same people. Yeah, the same people on offense, and they have a much worse defense going there. They let other people go. Like Hubbard's gone. Hendrickson, we don't know what's going to happen with him. I assume he'll be playing for the Bengals. Shamir Stewart, yeah. But other than that, who they have on that defense? They'll be in shootouts every week.
Well, here we go. Here's their schedule right here.
If Rodgers does sign with the Steelers, they could be a potential team that that's maybe the fifth seed. I still fully expect the Ravens to win that division, but maybe the Steelers are the fifth seed.
Yeah, the only issue I see with the Steelers now with Rodgers is the longer he waits, the longer he's got to he's gonna have a shorter time to learn that playbook. And now I know, Arthur Smith, the offensive wizard that Arthur Smith is.
Well, it's a pretty simplistic offense. How much?
I was being sarcastic.
Well, that's the thing is how much is that offense going to change if Rodgers does sign? Because he's not going to run with whatever offense.
I think they're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers' offense, and Arthur Smith's just going to be a fucking puppet.
He's already working with DK Metcalf and coming in for film sessions with freaking Mike Tomlin, which I don't even know if is that authorized? Is that allowed for a free agent to do that before signing with the team? I don't really know, but everything that I've heard. But I'm just looking at this AFC and I'm just scratch the Colts. I think they'll probably have some fun games, but they're pretty shitty.
I think Jacksonville is a potential sneaky team to be a wild card.
Man,
if Liam Cohen gets him right on offense, if he can get Trevor Lawrence figured out, he's got the arm.
He does. I'm just so done with his decision making, and I'm done with believing in the Jaguars that this is their year. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the point now with the Jaguars. You just got to show me because I'm going to believe that you're going to be shit or you're going to be a middle of the pack.
That's the Bears for me. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I told Doc before the show, I can't, and he said the same thing. I can't drink the Kool-Aid until you do it, and it makes me want to pick them to make the playoffs of 2026. I love Ben Johnson. I love the hire, but I just got to see more from these teams that have the pieces. The Bears have the pieces. The Jags don't have as much pieces now. Guys left and they're kind of reworking some stuff, trying to retool it. But teams like Chicago, the Bears, the Steelers, they get Aaron Rodgers. I said it, Alan. I don't know if you were here when I said it. The Steelers are the New York Jets with a better coach. That's what they are. They're the New York Jets with a better coach.
Well, I mean, their defense, I think, is
besides,
I think their defense is
they reach
better.
500 every year, though.
But that's the coaching. That's the coaching of Mike Tomlin to any other Jets head coach in the last decade since Rex Ryan. And it's literally what it is. It's in my opinion, that is what the Pittsburgh Steelers are, and that's how I respect Mike Tomlin. I think he's a good coach, and I don't think
figure out offense.
Well, they can't figure out the
defense
players.
Is solid.
They can't figure out the players they don't give him a consistent quarterback that's going to win you games. You can't keep going from. Obviously Big Ben's one thing. You're going to ride your legend until he can't ride no more. But then from there, you go to Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph. I mean, come on now, like Justin Fields and Russell Wilson last year and Aaron Rodgers maybe this year. It's just not going to work.
Well, they just haven't invested in it. The next guy, I mean, I guess they thought Kenny would be that guy, investing in first round picking him. But
they had chances. I mean, I'm not a Shedeur Sanders fan, but god damn, you could have had Shedeur Sanders at 21. And I think
they could have had him 3 more times after that too.
Oh yeah, but I think Shedeur would have fit perfectly in the Steelers' offense. I think Mike Tomlin is a players coach that can coach him.
Yeah, I think Tomlin could have handled Shedeur Sanders like entourage and shit like that.
Yeah,
I think he could have nipped in the butt. I think Dion respects Mike Tomlin too. So
everyone respects Mike Tomlin. Everyone respects Coach Tomlin.
Respects him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he would have done fine there, but I mean.
I think
he's in the division now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this Browns team and I just expect them to be a bottom feeder this year. I don't expect a lot out of them.
3 wins.
Nothing.
3 wins.
It's going to be a tough season for them.
I
think the battle for the first overall pick is between the Browns, the Jets, and the New Orleans Saints. That's who I believe the 3 teams will be battling for that number 1 spot. If you ask me right now, May 14th, that's what it's going to be.
Aren't those the 3 teams that didn't get primetime games?
No. The
Titans.
Browns have a standalone game. It is the London game. So I count those as primetime because you're the only team on. I get primetime's a night game. But the Browns, Titans, and Saints are the only. I was going to bring that up, Luke. I'm glad you did. They're the only 3 teams that primetime game, but no, the Jets will always have a primetime game because I mentioned the media.
I feel like the NFL used to always give every team at least one.
Thursday night used to be the game.
That now they're just like fuck it. You suck. You don't get shit.
And that's the way it should be.
I thought Titans would get one with Cam Ward at least.
Yeah, I thought Cam Ward maybe could have got like a Thursday night game against maybe like the Jaguars, like the Texans or something like that.
But I kind of feel like the Titans are going to be so bad that they don't really want to see them on prime time anyway.
Speaking of the Tennessee Titans, I am low key rooting for them after their schedule release. I think it was the best one out of the 5 or 6 that I've watched. I believe them calling everyone a side effect for a drug commercial is the perfect play this year. So hey, I hope the team out of Nashville, Tennessee, I hope they get to the playoffs because that right there won me over just for the year.
Yeah, well, I haven't even looked at I watched their schedule release, but I haven't looked at the actual schedule laid out. See if I'm going to go to any of these games.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. I'm telling you, the Tennessee Titans, I think in the next couple of years, they're winning me over slowly. I think what they're doing is right.
I should just go week 1. Watch RJ Harvey play. It's at Denver. Never mind.
You ain't falling my life for that one. No, I mean, I back to the primetime stuff. I like how they're not giving every team a primetime game. I think you should earn it. I think if they think you're going to be good or you're coming off a somewhat I don't think the Falcons have that many, but for example, them, if they want to get like maybe 3 or 4 games, I understand that because they're coming off some excitement potentially and with Michael Penix, but I don't think teams like the Saints and the Jets are the Jets. It's just unfortunately it's New York media, but teams like that, they shouldn't get primetime games. You should earn it throughout that year.
I also think certain teams shouldn't have 8 primetime games too.
That probably shouldn't happen. But I think
the 2 to 5 range. I think it's good.
It used to be getting 5 was like 5, maybe 6. That was like, man, you're the top of you're the top of the mountain right there. That's what the people think of you. And then if you get 3 or 4, okay, great. Yeah, they had 5 in the first 8 weeks. I believe, or 8. Yeah, 5 in the first 8 weeks. That's crazy.
I'm gonna be so tired of the Chiefs so early.
I mean, the Cowboys have 6 primetime games too. They've got 4 Thursday night games. I think that's what
God damn.
Yeah.
Well, one's Thanksgiving, so I mean that was
yeah.
And one's
4
opening
Thursday
night,
games
so.
in a single season. First team that in NFL history to have 4 Thursday games.
And if I'm not mistaken, they play the Thursday night against the Lions the week after Thanksgiving, so it's a full week's rest. So and if I've noticed that the Lions or the Cowboys, that's how the Cowboys normally do it.
Yeah,
Last year didn't happen, but they normally play the week after Thanksgiving, so it's bullshit. That's catering to the Cowboys. They give them a week off, and they get 10 days off for the next week, so they don't really have to adjust that much.
Popular team, that's what happens.
It is. They cater to it. They cater to Jerry.
Yeah, and I think they're going to play an exciting brand of football this year. I think it's going to be, if Dak stays healthy, I think that there'll be some exciting games to watch.
I don't trust if Dak stays healthy. Like I don't trust the running backs or wide receiver core. I trust the
wide receivers. You don't trust the wide receivers?
Yeah, you lost me there.
No, outside of CD, who else did they get?
George Pickens.
George Pickens.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Pickens. Okay, wide receivers. If Pickens doesn't fuck up off the field.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. And they
the running backs and O line, O line should be better, but you got a couple new pieces in there.
Who's that other guy that they got? Turpin that led the team in touchdowns last year over CD Lamb. Like I think they got some.
There's kick returns and shit too.
Okay.
He is a good kick. He is a good returner. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get more kick returns because of the rule change. They're going to the 35, which that is going to make teams return the ball now. Make them return the ball, because if you kick it through the end zone, they're not good. They don't that extra 5 yards. They said from the 30 to 35, that was the difference from a year ago when they were going over this. They said if it got to the 35 originally, kickers are going to kick the ball, and it did go up last year. So we're going to probably get it to go up again.
Can I give a real quick hot take? This one just came to me. I feel like if the Browns shit the bed this year and they're in that bottom, they're getting this year. I feel like this could be the return of Bill Belichick to the NFL next year. I think they fired Kevin Stefanski and bring in Bill Belichick, have him return to the Browns and do what he should have done all those years ago.
No, Bill's too old at this point.
Even bigger hot take is he waits till 2027 and he gets Arch Manning and he builds the Cleveland Browns around Arch Manning.
Oof.
That'd be wild.
No, I actually like Stefanski. I think he's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach.
But he won Coach of the Year 1 year, didn't he?
I think a couple of years. He's won a couple of years in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But he's also dealt a fucking terrible hand every year too.
Yeah, it's what it is.
It's like Daboll, get dealt terrible hands, man. You can't do shit with him. Like it's the only reason he still got his job too.
Daboll fucked up and had to be good the first year with Daniel Jones, and he didn't want Daniel Jones allegedly, and then John Mara did, and
they signed him.
Yeah, and Daboll's like, "Damn it, dude! I'm such a good coach. I make this guy look good," and he gets hurt the next year, and it never worked back out. Man,
the Giants this year, they're gonna have a weak schedule. I haven't looked at it yet, but they're probably gonna have a pretty weak schedule. And
their schedule is tough. I'll pull it up.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about in the office today. We were going based on all of the leaks. So if the leaks, I didn't see how accurate the leaks I gave. Jake actually posted the Giants schedule in our chat, so let's see how accurate he was. It looks pretty accurate in my opinion.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm presenting it right now. I got you. Give me 1 second. I need a fucking producer, man. All right, so. Yeah, so they're starting at the Commanders and at the Cowboys. So that's 2 tough games. Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, home.
Chargers, okay.
Saints Cup. Hey, there's your game right there that you can win. You host the Eagles on Thursday night. You're at Denver. You play the Eagles again 2 out of 3 weeks. So that's good. And then you play the Niners. We don't know what they're going to be. At the Bears, that's tough. That's Chicago in November. And then you go to the you host the Packers. You go to the Lions. You go to the Patriots, who's no pushover. Exciting Monday night game, by the way. Week 14 bye week.
What a lineup.
Week 15, they're hosting the Commanders, host the Vikings, at the Raiders, home for the Cowboys. That right there. That might be 5 wins, 6 wins.
That's a tough schedule. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm I'm actually kind of high on them this year. I really like what they did. I mean, I've talked about that a couple of times on the last couple of pods we've done. I think that they're really up and coming. And if Jackson Dart is actually that guy, then maybe they can pull things out. I
think they're just still a couple years away. And
they're right. Yeah, they're right there. I agree.
They like the D line. They'll have one of the best D lines in the NFL.
Well, I think what this sets up. I think what this sets up is.
I like the running backs, Tracy and Scatterboo. They got Malik Neighbors at wide receiver. I don't think Dart's going to start week 1. I think it's going to be Russ.
Oh, but I think that's what
based on that. Based on that schedule, he might be playing week 7 or 8.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's.
I don't think Dart's going to be ready.
Well,
Alan, this reminds me, Alan, of the Patriots last year where they gave the Patriots a super late bye week, and we thought, okay, because we even said before you left where you had to go, you could see Drake May getting put into a situation of an early bye week, but it was such a late bye week, they had no choice but to throw Drake May in super early with not that, because they try and throw a rookie in or a young quarterback in after the bye week, so it gives them an extra week of preparation. I could see the same thing happen to Jackson Dart. If you don't beat the New Orleans Saints and you're 0-5, you might be playing week 6 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, because they'll be calling for Daboll a job at that. Like you're in New York. You don't last long in New York if you don't perform.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think that this is setting up for them to have to push off Russell Wilson pretty early.
Not sure I want to put Dart against the Eagles.
Look at the schedule. I mean, what do you want? What game you want him to play? Because
you could go 0-3 or 0-4, and then have to throw in Dart against the Saints for an easy win.
You could do that.
Try to get a positive start to his career, and then see where his confidence level is going in against the Eagles. Like
because look at week 6 through 10. You have Eagles at Broncos, at Eagles. I think Niners I said in there, and the Bears like at Chicago. Like those aren't easy places. Those aren't easy teams.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm not high on the Niners this year. I think the Niners are falling down. I think the NFC West is going to be one of the worst divisions in the in the NFL.
Shout to the NFL for giving the Niners Panthers, I think, a Monday Night Football game.
Hey, the Panthers might be pretty exciting. I mean, if Bryce Young continues what he was doing, and they've got what's his name, Ted McMillan, and
they did that because of Christian McCaffrey playing against his former team.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, they did that, but I think that the Panthers might be able to surprise a little bit.
I agree. I said today in our office, because we have a Panthers fan in there, I said they're going to be, I think, a competitive team. They're going to be, third year in a row, I've said it, they're going to be competitive losers, which if you're listening right now, bet the Panthers to make the playoffs, because I said about the Texans and the Commanders, and both teams won their division and they made the playoffs. Now
that's your sneak. That's your sneak for this year.
Not to win the division, because they're not beating out Tampa. But they could be the third. They could be a second wild card team in the NFC South, maybe. But they're not winning the division. But hey, sneaky team. I do like what they were doing, and I think Ted McMillan also opens up Xavier Legette, and they have some good running backs too. So this offense is gonna be better, and the defense they drafted pretty well on that side in the middle rounds. NFC South's on the come up besides the Saints. Just saying.
They are.
Saints are bad.
I think Saints are finally. I think Saints are finally having to face the music of their salary cap decisions over the last couple of years.
They're getting lucky that Derek Carr decided to retire for their salary cap.
Well, I think we all said whoever the coach was going to be, he was probably going to be a bridge coach. And I hate to say it for Kellen Moore, because I thought Kellen Moore could have had chances, last couple of years. So it sucks that that might be the case. Now, obviously, we don't know.
He may not be a bridge. They might give him the benefit of the doubt and let him ride out a couple extra years.
What are the chances? What are the chances of Arch Manning coming out next year? I don't know.
5%.
5%. Okay. Well, what if the Saints have the number one draft pick?
He's got to win the Heisman and the Natty.
What if the Saints have the number one draft pick?
That's 2 years in a row. Now, the question, though, Alan, is if they have the number one pick, do they go after Garrett Nussmeier, whose dad is on the Saints offensive?
His dad's OC.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That there is the play.
That's more realistic, because Garrett Nussmeier has to come out, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Nussmeier is coming out regardless. I don't think Arch comes out. I think he is a Manning at heart. He's a 4-year quarterback. Shit, he could actually play 5 years if he wants to. I don't think he does that, but I think he plays 2 seasons. He's got 3 seasons left of eligibility. Okay. He redshirted his freshman year.
Yeah.
So he could play. I don't see him doing it. His stock's going to be too high after the second year.
No, if he wins the Heisman and the Natty, then he might come out. That percentage goes up.
I still don't think he comes out. I think he goes because he's always wanted to be with Texas. And Sark, I know we rip on Sark during the season, but Sark does give you a great opportunity to run an offense, to be a quarterback and get you to the next level. Obviously, they work with Quinn Ewers, but look who he's worked with at the collegiate level. He's worked with quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL today. And it's a perfect system. He runs a pro-style offense in Texas, and that helps guys like Arch Manning and whoever's going to be coming after him. So I like the situation for Arch Manning. Play 2 more years. I'm also a little biased. I want him to play as much as he can.
Yeah.
I didn't like Arch Manning coming in from high school. I thought, Louisiana, they don't produce many good quarterbacks, but yeah, I like it. Luke, you're muted, by the way. You were trying to talk.
I push the button.
Oh, you're.
My fucking. Oh shit! My mic's fucking up.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh shit!
It came unplugged and it went back in.
No, yeah, it sounds like connected to your computer, but no, guys, this season, man, this right here, this leads into Dynasty football tomorrow. Now we know some schedules here we could talk about. Guys, we're probably gonna start talking division breakdowns starting in June. June and July are gonna be probably our division breakdowns, and then August comes preseason. Guys, we are just literally like it's just coming, man. The season's going here, right? It's right on the corner. It feels like.
Yeah, I love the division breakdowns. I mean, I think we had some really hot takes last year, and I think we had some really good shows with that, and it always produces a lot of things to talk about. So I'm excited for it, and this season's gonna be. I think this is gonna be one of those tougher seasons to predict. Again. It seems like a lot of these divisions are kind of wide open. You've got some front runners, but outside of that, who's going to take those 3 playoff slots? And I'm just looking at some really bad divisions, some really good divisions, and I'm probably wrong about them, which means that there's going to be some surprises. So,
yeah, I'm excited for our playoff bracket predictions.
Oh yeah,
see how it go, because you don't know until you get week to week and you're like filling that thing out. It always comes out weird. I'm like, fuck, I didn't think this team would make it. And you click through it and all right, well, I guess so.
Yeah, you could have a team like the San Francisco 49ers, Allen, in the 2023 season going undefeated in Luke's playoff bracket just to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Super Bowl that year after Trevor Lawrence had that 27-0 comeback the year after.
That was a bad one.
That was one of the boldest takes I've ever seen. When he sent me his fucking playoff bracket, I was like, what the hell is this? But hey, he stood by it a whole year. He wore it. I mean, give him respect on that.
It was bad. It was a bad one.
Yeah.
The Niners did make the NFC. No, they made the Super Bowl that year.
They made the Super Bowl, yes. But they weren't undefeated.
They were not
undefeated.
No, they were close.
That, I believe, yeah.
They lost 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think they were 13-4, 12-5, or something like that. But yeah, that was the year that Brock Purdy played his first full season. Went to the Super Bowl. And obviously lost to the Chiefs in second overtime.
Then I drank that Jaguars Kool-Aid. Like we all did.
We all did, but you drank the most of it. You had 2 servings.
Yeah, but that's that kind of leads to that burnout that a lot of people are probably going to have with the Jaguars right now.
That could be the Commanders too. Like that. Hey, we could all be drinking the Commanders Kool-Aid this year. They might come back to reality. I mean, that's like you said, Alan. Who comes back? Who shoots up? Because Jake, for example, Jake's mocking the schedule. Well, but the Texans stayed where they were at, though. I think they came back on offense, but because
of their division, they stayed.
Well, that's the thing is that it's the division, and that division isn't getting any better. It actually, I think that division got worse. So
everybody's so high on CJ Stroud, because he balled out his rookie year. I'm like, he's gonna take a step back, and he took a big step back.
When you look at his statistics, he took some steps back. But when you look at his analytics, there's a lot of it that shows where he was doing well under pressure, or at least he was like the most pressured quarterback and still making plays. I mean, they still went up against in the worst division, but he still was able to produce with bad protection. And I think there was a stat when it was the Texans against the Chiefs or something like that, and they were looking at most pressures for the entire year, and CJ Stroud was like way high on that list, and he was he still had a lot higher efficiency than Patrick Mahomes.
They sell off their O line every year. They did
Yeah.
it again this offseason.
Yeah, they traded their guard to the Eagles.
Tunsil.
Yeah,
Hey, they got rid of Tunsil.
Oh yeah, Tunsil. Yeah, that's right. They traded Tunsil to the Commanders and Green to the Eagles. They're just letting the NFC East go run wild.
They do it every year. They just sell off their O line. I'm like,
their defense is good. I'll give them their defense
for CJ Stroud. Like,
deep.
Yeah, their defense is what got them to the fucking playoffs last year, I think.
Yeah,
you know what? Their offense was atrocious. I don't know if you watched that Bills Texans game, but that was probably one of the worst football games last season.
Speaking of the AFC South, though, I do believe that so it's week 1. It's Panthers Jaguars. We are going to see Travis Hunter be guarded by J.C. Horn and also guard Ted McMillan. I think right there to me that's a good week. I mean, it's a cool week 1 storyline.
Is he going to be the number 1 corner though? Is he going to be like going up against the number 1 wide receiver?
I think if they play him, he's got to be on McMillan.
See, I kind of feel like
he's played against McMillan before too.
Yeah, handful of times. I mean, last
Not
2 seasons. Well, last 2 seasons, I believe, right?
No,
Pac-12 and Big 12.
This was the first year of the Big Pac-12
inside
the Big 12.
But they were in the Pac-12 the year.
Oh yeah. Was McMillan playing though? Wasn't he? I think he might have been hurt the year before.
McMillan was a baller the year before too. I mean, him and Burden were the 2 big receivers coming in.
Maybe they played against each other twice.
Regardless, they played against each other, and
yes,
I believe the Jags are going to take it. I think the Jags are going to let him play. I think they're letting it all kind of. I don't think in preseason he's going to do as much, but I think he plays.
He did 0 in rookie minicamp, but it's also rookie minicamp. They're playing on fucking air.
I kind of feel like I feel like he's going to be a probably the number 2. Obviously, he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver, but he'll probably be in on most snaps on offense. But then on defense, he's probably going to play like a slot position. I don't think they're going to line him up on the outside very much.
I think the Jaguars and Giants, they were the 2 best situations for him where let him be a primary corner and then let him play 75 to 8% of snaps on offense because you have a Brian Thomas Jr. who is one of the best receivers in football as of last year. He had one of the best seasons. So, I mean, you don't have to have him be the number 1 wide receiver, like you said. So let him be corner number 1. And if it doesn't work out, then pick a side. And that's on. But you have to give him the chance at least. I'm not saying it's going to work, but give him the chance. That's what he was really good at.
You drafted number 2 for a reason.
You traded up too.
I mean, might as well let him play both sides, see what he can do. If he can't do it, then oh well. I think he's going to get hurt at some point this season. Trying to do that. I mean, he's not like super big. I mean, his size like on stats like looks like he's big. I think it says he's like 200 and like 6'2" or something like that.
Yeah.
But like in reality, he looks pretty scrawny.
Yeah, he does. And well, the other thing is too, like the NFL is just a completely different level. Everybody's faster, everybody's stronger, everybody's bigger. Like these are the biggest guys that you ever played up against in college. You were probably facing, the guys that you're facing every single week in the NFL, you were probably facing twice a year. 3 times a year in college. So like I really don't.
And you're playing full teams of those guys too.
Yeah, and the talent level is like it's more even. It's more like you have more parity. Like yes, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football, arguably, but there's games where he gets locked down against other corners. And the NFL or the college, these 5-star receivers, it's very rare that they're getting shut down against other players unless you're playing like the Georgias or the Alabamas or the Clemsons. It's very rare that happens.
Yeah.
So, guys, I thought today was a great episode. I am excited. Like I said, we are just a few months away. We have Dynasty tomorrow, running back position. Luke, I know me and you. Hopefully, Doc will be in for that one. Doc's off tomorrow, so he said she'll be in. So, we have some running backs to talk about. A lot of names for some rookie running backs. We have a lot of names.
Stacked lineup here for running backs.
And I believe I'm glad on the number 1 overall pick.
Almost every running back could be somebody you talk about that was drafted.
Yeah, I think a lot of running backs got put in really good situations to be able to get some playing time and be starters. Like I think that it's going to be a really good year for running backs.
I'll say it now and defend myself tomorrow. If I had the number 1 pick, if I was Jake, I would not draft Ashton Genty number 1 if you're going to go running back. I'd go Marion Hampton. And I'll explain tomorrow why. I don't think Genty should be number 1 running back. But, hey, that's something we'll talk about tomorrow, Luke. Hopefully Doc's there too. Hopefully, Alan, you guys pay attention. At least watch it sometime. I know you got some fun plans this weekend. So, great episode. And then next week, Alan, hopefully you're back. Hopefully everyone's back. We have wide receivers and tight ends. And then it's time for the draft. Oh, also, Alan, congratulations. Welcome to the redraft league.
I made it in.
Yeah, my wife dropped out, so you're in.
Nice.
No, she works too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, Mark confused me a little bit. He
did.
sent me a message. He was like, so welcome to the Dynasty Redraft League. And I'm like, all right, cool. Am I taking over a team? He's like, well, it's redraft. And I was like, you said
Yeah.
Dynasty Redraft. He's like, oh, my bad.
I was trying to send messages for the Dynasty crew and the redraft crew, so I was getting them mixed around. I even texted a guy, one of our guys in our Andrew was like, wait, is it different now? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you said Dynasty. I was like, fuck. I'm sending messages to both crews here, trying to figure out who's in. Because Luke and Chris, by the way, Alan, they want the draft order in fucking May, early June. They want the earliest possible time. Yeah, they
gotta do some research.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm with that too. Like,
Yeah, so I will.
Once you got the teams, and once you got the players locked in, just go ahead and get that.
maybe on one of the division
Or we ain't
breakdowns.
doing the draft till after preseason.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, we usually do it the week before Labor Day weekend, so like that last preseason week, usually starters don't play anyways. Maybe on a division breakdown episode, on one of the first ones, maybe the very first one in June, I will do a random Google randomizer. We do it 3 times random, and then we'll have the order on the show instead of doing it on Facebook Live on my own personal page. So maybe we'll do that.
That'd be dope.
So that you guys see I'm not rigging it. I will go to the website. I'll share
it's
the
always
screen. It's all no matter.
Rigged every
Dude,
year.
it's rigged every year. I can
Yeah.
give Luke number 1 and Chris number 2. It's
Yeah,
rigged.
the only thing
It's either
that's
me,
more.
it's me, Chris 1 or 2, or me, Chris 11 to 12. It's every fucking
Hey,
year. Like that.
What's funny
Hey,
is I did a random one the other day to
Back
see
to
where
back.
it was at, and one of y'all was last, and the other one was like number 10 or number 9. I was like, God, if this was the real one.
Yeah,
Dude,
the only thing
it's-
more rigged than the NBA draft is Mark doing the fantasy drafts.
Yeah. What's funny is it never works out for me. So it's like if I'm gonna rig it, don't you think I would give myself a good pick? At least not like the best one to make it too obvious, but like maybe the second or third one to help myself. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, last year I got screwed so much. I trusted Jaden Daniels and Brock Bowers in my starting lineup before we didn't know what they were going to be, and it got me the championship. Now playing the
Yeah.
wrong players lost me that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but year in year out, I usually like to draft in the like 8 to 10 range. Like I like to have that
Number
quick
6.
turnaround. Like I'm good. I don't like that middle of the pack because it's almost too consistent and there's players coming off. But that waiting a little bit and then getting that 2 back to back, I think those are good positions to draft.
Yeah, pick 12 is a lot of pressure because it's back to back.
Yeah, that was tough.
You gotta figure shit out quick.
Well, pick one
Yeah.
too, because then you got to turn around in rounds 2 and
Yeah.
3. You got to
I
turn
think-
around.
I think in my league, Jake always has like the last draft pick, like every single year. It's all randomized, but Jake pretty much every single year has like the last draft pick.
Yeah, I asked the defending champion from last year. I said, "Hey, what pick do you want?" He's like, "I want 4." And what's funny is when I did that randomized just for shits and giggles the other day to see what it was, he had pick 4, so he would have got his way. But guys, great episode. Like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow, me and Luke, and hopefully Doc, to talk a little NFL dynasty running backs and have some fun again. But for Luke Rule, Alan Tomasella, I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Boss podcast. Good luck. Hopefully you guys like your schedules. Hopefully you'll have fun with it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace out.